Hi, and welcome to Preview. My name is Guy Giampapa. Preview.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cue Guy.
Hello and welcome to Preview. My name is Guy Giampapa. Well, we have a very special show for you today. I have two lovely guests, Meg Foffanoff, who is the producing artistic director of the Fiddlehead Theater, and one of the actors in their newest production, The Fantasticks, Rachel Asaf. And they're going to be with us here in a few minutes to talk about that production. But before that, let's talk about theater in other places. Well, the Regal Music Theater is proud to present the Boston debut of one of the legends of show business. Mitzi Gaynor, the incomparable star of television, stage, and screen, is coming to the Robinson Theater in Waltham on Sunday, April 22nd at 1 p.m. with her one-woman show called Razzle Dazzle, My Life Behind the Sequins. This is an event not to be missed. Razzle Dazzle is an afternoon of laughs, love, and music with a movie legend and triple threat superstar Mitzi Gaynor. The show is a love letter to a great era of show business. Part of it will be a concert, and part will be a glittering memoir of side-splitting stories and classic songs. Take a look at Mitzi Gaynor in action.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Mitzi Gaynor, my God, is she still alive? I was doing a picture with Gene Kelly, and one day he said to me, Mitzi, don't be recalcitrant. I said, I'm not, I'm Catholic.
The show is backed by a 7-piece band featuring Miss Gaynor in a delightful medley of songs, including highlights from South Pacific, where she created the role of Nellie Forbush. You don't want to miss seeing Mitzi Gaynor in her critically acclaimed performance in Razzle Dazzle, My Life Behind the Sequins. Take it from me, Gaynor will wow you with her performance. Razzle Dazzle, My Life Behind the Sequins, Sunday, April 22nd at 1 p.m. Get your tickets now. Rita Gardner, the star of the original New York production of The Fantasticks, is coming to Dedham's Fiddlehead Theater on Thursday, April 26th, to star in her original one-woman show called Try to Remember, A Look Back at Off-Broadway. It's a one-time only show featuring songs Miss Gardner made famous on Broadway, productions plus outstanding musicals and songs from off-Broadway shows. The show will highlight a medley of tunes from Hair, Godspell, Little Shop of Horrors, and a chorus line. Try to Remember, A Look Back at Off-Broadway will play just one performance at Fiddlehead. Following the show, a champagne and dessert reception is included in the $30 ticket price, and you'll have a chance to meet Rita Gardner in person. Rita starred in the original New York production of The Fantasticks with Jerry Orbach way back in 1960. 42 years later, the production closed on January 13th, 2002, after 17,162 performances. Wow. In 1992, The Fantasticks was awarded Tony Honors for Excellence in Theater, and then in 2007, the musical was revived in New York at the Jerry Orbach Theater, where it's still playing. The Fantasticks is opening at Dedham's Fiddlehead Theatre on April 13th. We have two members from this wonderful musical right here in our studios. Allow me to introduce to you the producing artistic director, Meg Fofanoff, and actor Rachel Asaf. Welcome to our show, ladies.
Hi,
it's so good to have you both here. Well, I think I've said it all about the Fantasticks.
Yes,
I mean, this is a fantastic show, and I have never seen it.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm embarrassed to say that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to get to New York. And
that's true.
It really is.
Yeah. But it's a famous show. I mean, everybody knows it, and the song, Try to Remember.
Yes.
Everybody knows it.
It's so classical, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Rachel, your role in this show, you play the lead. Louisa?
Louisa.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Well, she's a young girl. She's 16 years old. She knows nothing of the world except what she reads in books,
Right.
adventure and romance books. And she is in love with the boy next door. Their fathers have created a feud to keep them apart. But of course, it's fake, and they fall in love. And they meet over a wall, which is represented by a stick in the show. And so they fall in love, and when the time comes to end the feud, they realize that it's fake, and they both go off and venture into the world, and they get hurt, and they experience things, but they come back and realize that all they need is each other. So
It all ends happily ever after?
yes, well, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's what we like to leave you with.
Okay. Now, your co-star is Michael Donovan.
Correct.
He has an impressive background.
He does.
He's done a lot of opera as well as other things.
He does have a big opera
Yeah,
background,
yeah.
yes.
And have you played with him before?
I have. We grew up together in Louisiana. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I knew you were a Southerner, but I didn't know about Michael.
Oh, he's a Southerner too.
Oh, wow. Does that make it easier to work when you know the person like that?
Oh, absolutely.
It does.
I mean, we've been really good friends for a long time, so we didn't have to have that awkward getting to know each other phase and everything. So, yeah, right away it was great, and especially since the two characters they're so young and innocent, and it's nice to be able to play it with a friend and whom you know.
That always makes it easier.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Now, you tell me, Meg, Fiddlehead Theatre has been around for, maybe a dozen years?
18.
Is it 18, really? And you've done some marvelous things in your time.
Well, we've enjoyed what we've done and really pride ourselves in doing theater because we love it and are very passionate about it at Fiddlehead. And I've been very fortunate through the years to work with so many amazing people. I mean, Michael and Rachel are delightful. Jean Dante, who's her other male co-star, is very contrasting to Michael. He's sort of the, devilish kind of villain, kind of Zorro-esque, very, alluring kind of character as well. So, and he's been in many of our shows through the years. But we've done a lot of interesting things, and it's great to be where we are now, being able to do different shows in different places, which is very liberating and interesting to do that.
And you've won a lot of Ernie Awards. I like to say that because I'm a member.
You are. We have. I know. So I hope we get some Ernie reviewers there.
Well, I think I'll talk it up with them.
Talk it up because the Fantasticks should. I mean, we're very honored to have gotten those through the years, and have been part of the Boston theater scene in that.
Why did you pick the Fantasticks for this particular time?
I picked the Fantasticks. It's a show that I've admired for years, and I think initially part of the basis, besides theater, my background is in English literature and French. So the fact that it was such a literary piece and also was steeped not only in literature but also in French theater as well. So the fact that it was based on Romeo and Juliet, Midsummer's Night's Dream, and has so many literary references throughout, and the fact that it was based on a play by Rostand, who wrote Cyrano de Bergerac, Les Romanesques, and then that in turn was based on on a 16th century French poem called Aucassin et Nicolette, which even preceded Les Romanesques. So all of that wonderful French literary stuff, which I love, as well as the Shakespeare, really attracted me. And then in reading the piece, it's so charming, and but not, musicals are wonderful with happy endings and all, and I love those the best. I'm not big on tragedy. However, it's nice. The Fantasticks, as long as it's been around, remains very refreshing in the sense that, Tom Jones talks about it and says one of the challenges for all the characters is to both be fantasy but also be very much real people. And I love that about the play because it is a happy ending, yet we're not quite sure where it goes from there. The two lovers are a little older and wiser, and maybe too much so, more than they really wanted to be. And the idea that life is, the fantasy moments in life are wonderful, but unfortunately, life is not all that. And we have to grow, we have to sometimes be hurt and sometimes be enlightened in ways that we don't really want to, and it makes us wiser. In the end usually works out, but it's not not always so easy. And there's so many wonderful El Gallo as a narrator has these wonderful speeches where he takes us through the different phases, and romance turning cynical is all what he talks about. The fact that things as they look under moonlight are quite beautiful and romantic, but all of a sudden burnished by the sun. He talks about when, bam, the sun comes out and, oh my God, and she looks at her lover and says, ooh, wait a second, and he looks at her, oh, wait a second. So it's very entertaining. It's not just sort of a pat, boy gets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl romance. It's very deep and very rich, and it's very colorful. That's another thing that attracted me to it, and I think we've put our own spin on that. They're very specific about the way they, Tom Jones, to make it a show that anyone can do anywhere, anytime. They have very exact directions for the set. But we added a little more color to it, I think, than there would normally be. One of the wonderful images, not to give everything away, but there are these scraps of fabric that are very important in the show. And just, they're wonderful remnants, sparkly, glittery pieces, and, purples and reds, and all that are the spirit of what theater is all about. So everyone should be prepared to feel very much immersed in those when they come. It's the costumes are so contrasting because you have the two lovers who are in white, and then everyone else, and El Gallo is in black, of course, and then everyone else is in these wonderfully colorful, almost carnivalesque. The whole show has very much of a carnival kind of circus feel to it, and then I just loved it because it has these sort of iconic characters. The damsel in distress, her hero, the villain, the wise man, the fool, so there are these wonderful pieces that speak to everyone about life, about, familiar to them from movies and theater and all kinds of things they've seen. So it's just a very rich, you don't stop being entertained or drawn in or made to reflect and think about you and yourself and your life throughout this whole show, because the actors and the narrator, aside from interacting with each other, really very, very much of the show are addressing themselves to the audience. So it's very intimate. Yeah.
Now, does this play take place at a certain time and then advance in the years? Rachel mentioned you were young lovers at the very beginning, but do you age as it goes on?
No.
We don't necessarily age.
No.
All right.
Time passes.